Another day at the workshop. Sunday today, so it's super quiet. I like it here on a Sunday because there's no noise, there's no fucker about. Anyway, today it's Mx5 Brakes. What this is standard front and rear brakes. Not only standard front and rear brakes, but the 1.6 Mark 1 ones, which are the smallest ones you can get. The reason is they're fine, and more importantly, they're the lightest. Unsprung weight makes a big difference to performance, more than normal weight. Unsprung rotating weight, as in brake discs and wheels and tyres, of course, even bigger difference. I tested this back in the day at Redline. It does make a genuine noticeable difference. We timed it, we've done all sorts, we've done multiple tests. It does help. So when these with decent pads are more than enough stopping power to overpower even good tyres, then I don't need anything else. Why, you know, it's like anything bigger would just be like internet points or a placebo or whatever. It's like, nah. A lot of MX5 race cars run the standard smallest 1.6 ones because they are lightest and they perform fine. So what we got here is 4 new calipers. Considering the price of it, there's no point, you know, I couldn't be bothered like rebuilding and cleaning up my own when you can just buy 4 new ones. They're standard, of course. That is a master cylinder stopper brace thing, whatever you want to call it, because, well, like most cars, but especially like convertibles, you know, they're not the most, they're a bit flexible, put it that way. So a master cylinder stopper stops, obviously when you slam your foot on the brakes, you're pushing against the master cylinder, and often that flexes on the bulkhead, so you're not actually getting the braking force you should be for the amount you're putting your foot on the brake. That affects pedal feel, but also performance. That is a brace which will help stop that. So they reckon that's like kind of a must-have for MX5, a decent master cylinder brace. So there it is. It's simple and cheap, so it'd be crazy not to, and it weighs nothing. That must be aluminium, I think. It's super light. Brake hoses, they're just Goodrich Performance fancy braided ones. My ones were old and shagged and standard. These are brand new and super pretty and cheap as chips, and I'm really pleased that it also comes with that block, because I didn't know if it'd come with them, and my one's knackered. So the fact it comes with that block, I'm actually really chuffed with those Goodrich ones. I've never bought them before, and they're really good, like much better than other ones I've had. So I'm quite, you know, quite surprised really. Pads, I'm using EBC yellow stuffs. Not like, again, it's not like a super trendy name off your Formula 1 car, but EBC yellow stuffs are proven to work really well on MX5s on track and everything. So they're fine for me. They're cheap, they're UK made. You know, I've seen people over the years slag off EBC green stuffs. I mean, they're only a fast road pad, but I've used them in the past and they're fine. You know, I'm sure they're not the last word in fucking brakes, but they're a big improvement over stock. But anyway, that's that. But I was only thinking of using the rear discs because the car came with these drilled and grooved ones on it, and they're in all right condition. But I thought, being drilled and grooved, they might be a bit lighter, and obviously it's that unsprung rotating mass again. So let's see. 3.5 kilos. Brand new stock one. 3.5 kilos. So yeah, they're going in the bin. Fitted the master cylinder stopper already. Dead easy. The original bracket normally just holds the proportioning valve. This new bracket holds the proportioning valve, but it also bolts to the chassis, so it stops the master cylinder moving and flexing when you're on the brakes. But yeah, dead easy, bang on. Takes up no room, as you can see. the V-bands for this Max Speeding Rods turbo. Basically, it uses the same V-bands as the teal housings on like GTX turbos and the new G series and whatever, because all of them, the G25 upwards, even to G25, G30, maybe G35, all use the same size flange. So that's what you use. I mean, it's weird because it doesn't say it on the Max Speeding Rods website. They should do, but it's pretty obvious when you see it. So I bought these were like it's stainless because it's male and female on the flanges as well, so they seal perfect. So these two V-bands, which are males, cause I think, yeah, males, because the female side is this. Two V-bands, two flanges. I think it was about 55 quid delivered. Found them on eBay. I think it was Mamba or something. I can't fucking remember. Either way, it's bang on. And fair play. The quality of the sort of work is brilliant. I mean, look at the transition from turbo out here. It is literally perfect match to the flange. Absolutely bang on. I honestly thought it would be porting time, but not on this turbo. This is the first turbo I've ever had in my life that don't require any porting. Both the inlet and outlet ports are completely flush with the flanges. Never seen that before on a turbo, but saves me a job, so happy days. I wonder if there's better light to see it from here. Look at that. Dismantled the old calipers because you need to use the sliders, the back plates, whatever you want to call them, for your calipers, the original ones. Obviously they're just pieces of metal, so they don't need to be brand new as long as they're not somehow rusted through, and I don't think that's even possible in any normal climate. But yeah, so I gave them a quick wire wheel to get any surface rust off, then give them a blast in satin black, so they will be ready to go on once it's dry. Another day at the workshop, and I've been doing things. First thing I did is not at all interesting, but I'll show you anyway. I refitted the bonnet stay, but more importantly, the engine. I mentioned already, was it the previous video? I can't remember. I mentioned at some point earlier this video, last video, I don't even know anymore. Who cares? Nobody watches this anyway. About a possibility of running the oil cooler thermostatic plate and a small filter there rather than that weird offshoot to here like the OEM cars have, because like I said, the downpipe kind of needs to go there. And yeah, this is the filter, Marley OC102, and it fits no problem, literally nothing to screw it off and clear the mount. So I've got a external oil cooler and a filter there with none of that extension shite, so good times. But as you might notice, the engine's on the floor, and that's because I'm fitting the clutch and flywheel and the gearbox. I've already had the gearbox on once, but I buggered it up. I actually fitted the box, bolted it on, and then realised, well, I was told that I didn't need to fit these. So I've had to take it all off and take these off. What they are 1mm shims to space out this clutch cover, because on certain Volvo flywheel clutch setups you need to, because the plate's thicker than standard and it won't release properly. I presumed, since I had these, that this was one of those setups, but now I've been told it's not, so I don't need it. So I take it off and yeah, remove them, and I put them back on. I fucking hope that's correct and I've been given the right info, because if not, the clutch won't disengage properly. And the trouble is, I'm not going to know that until it's in the car and the clutch is all hooked up, which is a fucking massive pain in the ass. But hey, the person who told me is the person who sells it, so I would hope he's fucking right. It's his own clutch and flywheel kit. I'm now going to pop the box back on, because all that, this is on the arm and all that crap, arm and the release bearing. So I'm going to pop it back on and I will show you once I've bolted it back up. And this is where we are for the end of today. Looking pretty awesome, to be honest. I'm pretty chuffed with this. It looks good. And yeah, the gearbox is on these, the Getrag M90. Not really small, really light. So yeah, ideal. Engine again, I mean, like this. These red blocks, I mean, you've seen in earlier videos, weighed them and they weigh a lot less than most modern 2 litres. They are not heavy engines. And me and Thomas, with literally no effort at all, lifted it off the engine stand. It was like, you don't even need a crane. You just, I was like, give us a hand, and we just grabbed an end each and you can just easily pull it off. They're great. I mean, like I said, I've got one of these out the boot of a car, an estate car. Well, actually, no, it wasn't even an estate car. It was a fucking Corsa, so a hatchback. I lifted one out of the boot of that and onto the floor just on my own. They're not, I wouldn't have been able to carry it in, but I could lift it enough on my own to lift it out and onto the ground. So yeah, these are super light, and this is dead easy. I mean, on a lot of cars with trying to line up the gearbox, you know, get the splines lined up, because obviously boxes can be quite heavy, it's a 2-person job. With this, I literally stood like that and whoop, straight on. So yeah, good time. It's in for the last time, hopefully. Sorry about the light, but the sun's going down and it's rather low and rather bright because it's fucking boiling today. But yeah, it's in on basically standard Volvo mounts, re-drilled. We'd have seen it before. That's the original Volvo hole, slightly in front, and that's the original one as well. You just have to, I had to do a second hole there for the tab for the engine mount. Engine mounts are Skyline ones with a little modified seat thing on the subframe. That's the OEM mounts for Mx5 on the subframe there, by where the turbo oil return is now. Much the same on this side. That's the standard mounts. That's a standard Volvo one. That is a Skyline rated engine mount. And again, that's the original hole. That's a re-drill too further back. But it's in. Clears everything. Plenty of room everywhere. Close to the starter there, but it's fine. I might actually modify that slightly. Don't know, but there's room to get the starter off very easily, so that's good. Room around the anti-roll bar, room around the sump, room around the transmission tunnel, which hasn't been modified. So yeah, awesome. Now I'm going to, don't know, there's so much room for activities, as you can see, tons of room. As you can see as well, the engine is standing up straight now, or near as damn it, whereas normally they're tilted over a bit more. We worked out it's like something like 5 degrees. It's hardly anything, but it's just standing up straighter now, because naturally they're tilted over. I think it's still tilted over slightly, just not as much as standard, but whatever, makes no difference. So yeah, that's where we are right now. And yeah, big step, see you in a minute when I bolt some shit on so we can get a better idea of how things are going to look. The sun's gone down a bit now, so you can see things a bit better without that stupidly strong sunlight messing everything up. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I've just added a Bluetooth turbo and wastegate installed just so I can see roughly what it looked like and where it would sit. And yeah, bang on, just as expected. Plenty of room. It's going to be, the turbo will be a little bit higher because it's going to be like a link pipe, which would be practically 290s, be like this way then upwards to that. So turbo will sit up here somewhere probably. Might sit a little bit further forward, don't know, don't care. Wastegate will be somewhere in that general area. It might face like that way a bit, so it sort of better flow directly from the outlet, or I don't know, whatever. But this is generally how it's going to be. Downpipe goes down there. Is not a huge amount of room, but there's enough for a 3-inch downpipe. That's all your return there, which it probably have to do a 90 going forward straight off that joinway you see now, and then run under the engine mount and up like that. You can also see now probably why I couldn't fit that standard weird piece off the block where the oil filter normally goes. The oil filter normally sits here on like a standard red block, and I would have no room for an exhaust. It's all going to plan and looking quite fucking cool, I must admit. I like it a lot. Obviously got to modify the manifold now. This is the fuel rail that I'm going to use. This is a early 1UZ one if I remember right, and it lines up pretty much perfectly with the ports, so it's absolutely ideal. The standard Volvo rail is made of like copper, I think it is, so you can't you know, we can't really modify and fuck with that. And well, you can buy aftermarket ones, but this was lying around and it's way better than any aftermarket one, so job done. So yeah, that's where we are for the moment. That'll do for now. I'm going home. Well, I'll tidy up first, but home time now. Plenty more to go. There's going to be some fabricating, which I can't do. Well, I can do, but I think Thomas will likely do it because he's got a lot more skills than me. I might tack it together and get him to finish it. I don't fucking know. But yeah, big progress. Hope you like this video, and obviously like and comment and subscribe and show people and, you know, all that good shit, because this channel's got fuck all views really, let's be honest. But it'd be lovely to actually have some, so, you know, whatever. See you next time.